way we work has changed. It's most visible in the shift to working from home and radically different commuting patterns, which are unlikely to ever be the same again. Employers have opened the door to remote working, and employees are increasingly free to choose where they work. Many are making radical changes to how they arrange the balance between their work and the rest of their lives. But that's far from the only change happening as part of what Fujitsu calls digital shift. Many organisations are also taking the opportunity to look even more closely at how work gets done. In particular, they're trying to cut out those aspects of work that people would rather not have to do. Repetitive, time-consuming tasks that are important but dull. The good news is that many of those tasks are now within reach of automation. With me today are two experts in the field, Fujitsu's Angela Abbott and Vijay Narayanan of ServiceNow, to discuss how we can simplify work through automation. Now, Angela, I think we've all experienced a dull but very necessary tasks involved at work. Isn't that just part of the deal of what we have to do when we're employed, taking the rough with the smooth?
Well, Nadir, a very good question. So what we have to think about is most organisations, when they first put their work processes and tasks together, never thought about designing them with digital in mind. So these days, we have got tools and technologies, automation solutions, AI capabilities at our hands. And with the switch to rapid working from home, it's almost given automation technologies and solutions that boost it needed to be adopted by the organisation. So with a rapid switch to working from home, we were able to arm our employees and our customers with tools and technologies that allowed them to free up their time from doing those repetitive, mundane tasks, focus on much better work-life shift, and of course get that good work-life balance.
And do employers widely recognise that opportunity?
Yes and no. So we polled and spoke to market surveys. Only around about 34% of market executives acknowledged the fact that their organisations were actually looking at automation technologies. Automation is often seen with somewhat of a negative lens. So there's a perception by some employees and employers that automation is going to eradicate jobs, whereas actually if you look at it with a very positive lens and put the focus on that shift to work-life balance and allow your employees to use that technology, adopt and focus on more valuable add tasks, we're starting to see a shift and change in culture.
Vijay, where it's happening, what's driving this change?
Great question. Right? So quite often, if you look at what drives changes, what drives large changes, very often this change is driven by new technologies. Right? So even if you take, for instance, things like computing itself in the 80s, 90s, and in the early 2000s, with the advent of computing and with computing permeating through the economy, it took a long time, right? So new technologies became more ubiquitous, spread through the economy. But the challenge with these types of changes is that they take a very long time. In the case of computing, it took more than 20 years. But what's happening is sometimes when there is a crisis, as we see today, new technologies disperse and permeate through the industries and economies much faster. We are seeing this today through the pandemic, and the world comes out of the pandemic. We have seen that this pandemic has necessitated lots of companies to really look at how do they adopt new technologies like AI, to really change the way they work in a much shorter period of time. So I believe that's a big difference in how change is happening today with the arrival of new technologies compared to what used to happen earlier.
So this is a social rather than a technological revolution.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. We have had this ability to really reimagine workflows and automate tasks for quite some time now. It is, in fact, the core of what ServiceNow is about. And we've been in the business since 2004 in this journey of automation, right? Workflow automation, process automation, and how do you leverage technologies to make workflow more smoothly through companies and businesses.
So, Angela, back to you. Employers haven't really been known for prioritising their employees' feelings, have they?
Well, massive digital shift, due to global disruptions have forced employees and employers to work hand in hand with each other to really help support employee well-being. So that extra time you spend at home working, you spend trying to get a good work-life balance needs to be prioritised by employers. So looking at what we can do to enable our employees to be more productive at home, give them more time to spend with their families, focus on employee well-being is absolutely paramount to us.
The employers surely have to justify this in other ways, don't they?
Yes, of course. So, of course, when you look at what we're doing with automation and AI technologies, what you're doing is when you remove repetitive, mundane tasks and when you arm your employers with technology to enable them to be more productive at work, of course, you're driving down your operational costs and you're improving efficiencies. And you're also being more engaging with your employees, driving up that employee morale and focusing on employee well-being.
Now, Vijay, talking of mapping processes, take us to the question of implementation. What are the biggest challenges that customers are facing when adopting automation?
See, we are talking about a pretty radical change in the workplace here. New technologies like AI have the potential to fundamentally change how people work, what their work experiences are. And it's only natural that people will be concerned about what it means for them, what they do on a day-to-day basis, and even sometimes for their own employment. I believe that it's very important to bring the employees along in this journey, in this digital transformation and automation journey from day one. We find that from the projects that we work on, when the benefits of these automation, when the benefits of the improved work experiences are explained more to the employees, and if they are part of the process of shaping this, it inevitably leads to great outcomes. It invariably leads to great outcomes. And the most important thing here is to be transparent and honest about understanding the employee experiences, making them part of figuring out what this transformation looks like. And I believe there are probably about 4 types of experiences where technologies like AI in the ServiceNow platform can really help drive these types of transformation, automation, and assistance to the employees in their day-to-day work. The first one, I would say, is really about language experiences. So how can humans and machines communicate and interact better through natural language, right? So how can machines understand what the human needs are through things like chat or email or search or phone, etc., and be able to come up with intelligent responses and drive more automation, but with really a natural language interface. The second type of interactions, the second type of experiences we see are really what I call as broadly task intelligence experiences. So how can the systems understand what humans are trying to accomplish, the types of tasks they are trying to fulfill, the types of information they are seeking, and be better able to either provide self-service, to drive automated resolution, or even help a human agent perform their tasks better, more efficiently, resolving the needs of a request. The third types of experiences are really around planning experiences within enterprises. So how do you forecast events? How do you drive better optimization where you are utilizing resources more efficiently within a workplace? How do you simulate different disruption conditions, and you're able to better handle these types of disruptions? And finally, we believe hyperautomation, intelligent hyperautomation, is going to be a very important transformation as well. So how do you leverage AI and tools like RPA, etc., to really transform and automate a lot of what I call as low complexity but fairly routine, high volume work? So these are, I believe, the types of experiences that are going to be fundamental. Now, it's very important, as I mentioned at the beginning, to bring the employees in this transformation from day one. So as they work with them to understand what are the types of tasks and what are the types of those routine tasks they do on a day-to-day basis that could be automated better, and leverage technology to automate them, and so that they can start spending more of their time on things that really humans excel at. So areas like creativity, higher level problem solving, providing great customer experiences, human touch customer experiences. So really, I think it's going to be very important to bring the employees along in this journey right from the beginning.
Angela, what about economic and technical aspects of implementation?
Well, we work hand in hand with a lot of our vendors and business partners, and with a rapid switch to solutions based in the cloud, we conduct very thorough sessions with them to ensure that we mitigate any types of security concerns in the clouds. With regards to technical implementation and costs, of course, we've moved on from those heavily led consultancy-driven engagements with our customers, as we used to spend weeks and weeks, of workshops trying to uncover, what those processes were and tasks that we were going to target for automation candidates. So we now are living in the realm of things like automated process discovery, which enables us with a very, very rapid way of digitally capturing the actual tasks and processes that our employees are focused on. So we can very quickly focus where we're going to take our employees on and our customers on that automation journey on.
It does sound like automation is making major leaps ahead. Is this actually what is happening?
Yes, finally. So automation has been in the market space now for a good last sort of 10 years, especially in the industry that we work in. But it has taken some time to get off the ground. The thing about automation is it is a journey. So it is about, identifying those key target areas that we know will bring a good return on investment. But it's not just about RPA solutions. We're now learning that we need to look more holistically across the organisation to target workflow and process automation. We've also learnt that it's key to ensure that all organisations have got an automation orchestration platform at the heart of their automation journey, so that we can span automation right across our customers' environments.
So, Vijay, what advice would ServiceNow give customers seeking to adopt automation?
So we talked about revolution, the term revolution, earlier to describe what's going on today. And while I believe that term probably captures the big picture, I don't think it fully reflects how we want to get started. Now, working with Fujitsu, we really recommend that we start with automating processes, what exists today, starting with processes that exist today, identifying opportunities to drive better automation and better assistance and better experiences in existing processes, understand the insights that come out of these automation, understand the successes of these automation, understand where things could have gone sideways or could be improved, and then building upon those learnings over time. This way, you avoid getting into this new Big Bang way of moving to having to move to a very different type of work all of a sudden. But there is a path, there is a journey that gets you there eventually as a destination. But starting with where you are today, I believe it's going to be super important to start with what you have today. And finally, I recommend that organizations really take a more comprehensive approach towards automating work within their workplace. ServiceNow, for instance, has a comprehensive set of tools and that can automate workflows end to end rather than isolated components or smaller pieces of it. Capabilities like RPA are good, but they get a lot more powerful when you stitch them in the context of an end-to-end workflow, all the way from identifying when the need for work starts, driving the work, observing what the utility of or the outcome of that workflow is, and closing the loop. And I would really recommend, and we also have tools like the low-code, no-code development tools. So employees can make minor tweaks to these workflows quite easily without having to bring in professional developers, professional IT or app developers to customize the workflows for what they want. What are the nuances of how work flows within their specific environment? So our goal is really to make sure that the capability to develop these types of workflows, these types of automated workflows, we put them in the hands of people, domain experts, who know best the types of work that happens in their environment. The employees who know best what types of tasks to automate, how to automate them, what is a good outcome, and put all the tools, simple tools like low-code, no-code development tools, RPA tools, AI tools in their hands so they can automate work as they see it best.
And Angela, I'm going to ask a similar question to you, but how would Fujitsu advise those customers wanting to adopt automation?
I would say firmly engage with your employees, let them know why you're taking them on that automation journey. You're putting the human at the heart of an automation journey as you build up that working relationship with their digital twin is absolutely key. The second thing I would certainly focus on is always ensure you have an automation centre of excellence. We at Fujitsu very strong and can help our customers with that as part of their journey, and it's absolutely key to ensure you've got that central governance channel within your organisation.
Angela, really useful information there, I'm sure, for everyone. OK, lots of solid practical advice there from our experts. Thank you to Angela and Vijay for that. Of course, we've only been able to deal with the main pointers here. There's a lot of detail behind each of them, and you may now feel ready to get into that with your own automation needs in mind. If you want to know more about Fujitsu's smart working as part of a work-life shift, please do contact your account manager or contact us using the details on the screen. You can also stay up to date by following us on social channels. Thank you.